What's up guys, we're doing some no-gi rolling commentary today in slow-mo. I slowed it down to half the speed, that way you can see all these positions and techniques in a lot more detail as I commentate. I talk about grip fighting all the time on the channel, and from here you can see I've got the underhook and wrist setting up the knee tap, which basically prevents Nikki from widening her legs as I drive forward and lift my underhook higher to off-balance Nikki. Nikki has me elevated with her butterfly hook, so I bring my knee down and drop my weight to my right to smash the hook, which she decides to abandon and switch to half guard. I have Nikki flat on her back and head controlled with a crossface, setting up the hip turn pass, my number one way to pass the half guard. I backstep to free my leg, but Nikki has the underhook, making finishing cleanly a little more difficult, so I switch to the arm weave pass, which Nikki counters by coming up to her knees. So I counter by coming around the back and inserting my knee inside the hole between her knee and her elbow. Normally from this position I would take the back, but instead opt for a front choke, which Nikki negates by posturing her head up. I shrimp out to try again, but the position is lost. I start playing some guard and working towards an underhook, but Nikki postures up to make more distance between her armpit and my arm, and now retreats to start working towards some speed passing, trying to prevent me from getting grips. Nikki does a fantastic job stripping grips from her wrists and ankles and creates this angle, forcing me to counter with some wrestling. I feel her wrist under my neck, so I do a little sit out to get my head to the outside. I keep my head high and forehead arched towards the sky, making the guillotine no longer a risk. I do like a modified hip throw and try to land Nikki gently because I need her for things. From here I can see the neck is open for the taking. I fall to my back into what I call a neutral front headlock position. From here I have the anaconda, darce, arm in and arm out guillotines all at my disposal. The anaconda is what I choose as I use my left arm to help bring Nikki's arm across her body. I lock it up by grabbing my bicep and arching my body into hers, driving my forearm into her neck as a result. Alright, real quick as we get ready, for those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Jordan and I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I make educational jiu-jitsu videos with my brown belt wife Nikki. We work really hard on these, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Nikki goes for this duck under, keeping a strong neck to prevent me from grabbing it, proceeds to the body lock as she drags me down. I was worried it may have hurt her a little bit as she pulled me on top of her, but she said it was worth it. We get into the stalemate position and fight for who will come up on top first. Nikki has her hips higher than mine, putting her at an advantage, but because I have my hips out instead of under hers, it's very difficult for her to put her weight on me. I do some small shrimps to get my weight even further and now come up on top stapling one leg as Nikki has her butterfly hook inserted with the other. My two best options from here are either to backstep or push Nikki's knee down and step over to mount, which I do. Because I love the back so much, I put my right leg into the quarter guard and proceed to this beautiful rolling back attack. Notice how I completely bend my body, getting my shoulder as close to Nikki's hips as possible. This makes it easy so you can rely on angle instead of momentum. From here I decide not to attack from the truck position, so I shrimp out to get to a better position with my hooks for the back. I keep trying to fight for hooks, and now I start to work towards grabbing the arms and try to place them underneath my hooks, trapping her arms with my legs, and that makes getting submissions a lot easier. I start to swim my hand underneath Nikki's neck and go for the rear naked choke, but then I realize I have a better chance of going for like armbar or triangle because I have an angle. So I go for this triangle, and from this triangle the arms are basically always available, and I don't really have correct positioning with my left leg, so the armbar is a better call. So we're back to wrestling, and you can see I kind of fake with my hand, and Nikki goes for the single leg, but she's not quite tight enough, and when she goes to rotate, her head pops out. I probably would have gone for the double leg personally, but Nikki goes for lifting my leg, which is also a great option, but I counter by bending my leg, making it hard for her to lift up, and I got pretty thick legs too, so it's very heavy and hard to do. So here, look, I got the underhook, and boom, I get this beautiful hip throw. I look at her to make sure she's okay. Nikki's pretty tough, so no big deal. I don't really have my weight on her, like with my chest or anything, and Nikki has the space to regard, so I counter by standing up, but Nikki does a great job getting this beautiful tripod sweep on me, pushing my hip with one leg and tripping my foot with the other. Now we kind of get into the scramble, and it's really important like who's going to get their hips higher. So you can see right now my hips are higher. I start to kind of win the scramble a bit, but Nikki starts coming back, trying to grab my arm, take out my post. I loop my left hand through to control Nikki's left arm, making posting out impossible, and this position is basically a guaranteed sweep. I position my left knee between Nikki's legs to set up the dope mount, my favorite way of mounting. Now I just need to bring one knee to the hip at a time to get mount. Nikki left her left arm exposed, which I take advantage of by jacking it up even higher, clearing the elbow with my head and proceeding to the arm triangle choke. I like to get my hips and my lat as low as possible. Notice how I'm here and I readjust myself, and now all the pressure in my arms is going to go to her neck. I have a video on my page how to do arm triangle chokes, and in my opinion it's the most optimal way with all the pressure going to the neck and you get the tap every time, so check it out. We're back to the wrestling. I like to be very relaxed with takedowns, not biting on feints, keeping my elbows close to my body, and just waiting to see what comes available. Nikki goes for this arm drag, but I don't budge. Nikki should have went for a stronger grip rather than trying to get like a fast grip. Nikki tries it again, but this time I get the underhook and I work towards this really cool outside trip. Because I got an angle, it was easy to get. You basically have to be beside your partner. And now I go for this knee slide, even though I don't have an underhook. You know, for me personally, I'm not too worried about people getting underhooks because I have so many counters for them. If you don't, do not give up underhooks. I go for a rolling back attack and I try to feed Nikki's right leg to my left leg using my right leg. I fail, but I have this cool armbar up my sleeve, keeping control of Nikki's waist with my arm. Nikki clears my leg off her head and looks pretty elated she was able to escape my armbar. My priority right now is to try to get the underhook. Nikki gets a little greedy trying to mount me when she should have backed off to side control, a more sure control position at this moment. Now I re-guard and Nikki's stalking me, so I back off to a standing position with this technical stand up, keeping my arm up for protection and bringing my hips back to stand up. So from here I notice Nikki has a tag sticking out from her spats, so I let her know and she puts it back in with a one-handed grip. I'm just kidding, I just thought that sounded really funny commentated, but that is what happened. So now we're back at it, and I nonchalantly give up this underhook, which I don't recommend doing. I shouldn't have. Look how much Nikki's fighting off my grips. She must be watching the videos. She tries an Uchimata, but switches to a knee tap, but went below my knee. If she would have committed a little more and went above the knee, I think she would have gotten a takedown no problem. I counter by doing kind of like a snap down, but it's really more of a drag down, which I learned on YouTube like years ago, and I've been using it ever since, just cupping the chin and just dragging the person down to their knees. So from here I'm just controlling the legs and I go for a leg drag, and Nikki looks at the time wondering when this torture is going to be over when I stop beating her up, but we still got a couple minutes left. So from here I kind of pull Nikki into my lap, but Nikki's too low to really take her back, so instead the better decision is going to be go towards the arm or the triangle, and I do the same armbar triangle I did before. Look, I go for the triangle, I lock it up, but same problem as before. I couldn't get my my left leg behind her, but not really a problem because, you know, the armbar's there all day. So back to grip fighting after a slap and bump, and I'm standing very much not like a wrestler. I'm postured high with an upright stance, but I really like reactionary wrestling. I let my opponent go first so I can counter. Nikki takes advantage, but my counter is strong and put her in the front headlock position. I let her posture up, and as she does, I hit the double leg, but come out the back door to defend my neck. I bring her knees together to go back to the double. Nikki does a great break fall, and right away I start controlling Nikki's legs with my hands. After hitting another leg drag, I see the opportunity where I can slide my knee between Nikki's elbow and knee again. Truck is basically the back position, but with an emphasis on the lower body control, where you have the twister, groin stretch, and calf slicer available. I think about going for the rolling back attack, but change my mind as I realize it'll be much easier to drag Nikki down. I wouldn't want to climb up to force my left hook in. That could result in losing position. Instead, it's much easier to insert the second hook when you put yourself into a position where it's the top hook that needs to be inserted. It's much easier than inserting the bottom hook or climbing on people. Alright, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you're still here, leave a comment or fist bump. It makes me really happy reading the comments and encourages me to keep making videos. Like one of these ones, check them out.